All right, guys. So yesterday we talked about 4 ways to find slope. And like I said, that was a little overwhelming for some people. So now we're going to focus on it's technically 2 ways, but you do it the same way. All right. We're going to focus on finding slopes from 2 points or a table. All right. Now, listen to me carefully. In my geometry class, which is the highest math class that you can take in 8th grade, I have kids that do solve these problems in different ways. So it is not like if you choose one way, oh, that's that's the slow person way, or that's the dumb way. There is no dumb way to do this. It's whatever way works best for you. And that's what I need you to understand. Yesterday, I had in 7th period, I had 16 people doing it one way and 3 people doing it the other way, and everybody still got the right answer. So I'm going to present 2 different ways for you to find slope, and you're going to choose which way works for you, and you're going to stick with it. All right. So if we look at these examples, guys, so the first way, I'm going to do an orange, and we're going to call this the formula way. All right. The second way, I'm going to solve those in pink. Why did I just write out pink? And we're going to call this the delta way. Now, once again, it does not matter which way you choose. You will get the same answer. So let's start with the formula way. On the formula way, the formula for slope, if you do the formula, is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So in order to do that, guys, you have to, in order to have something to plug in or know what to plug in, you have to label your points. So this is an x and this is a y. And we're going to label these 1s because they came off one of the points. This is an x and this is a y. And we're going to label these with 2s because they came off a separate point. Then all you're going to do is plug the numbers into the formula. So y sub 2 comes first on the formula, so I'm going to put a 3. Minus y sub 1 comes next, so I'm going to put a 3. X sub 2 comes first on the bottom, so I'm going to put a 20. Minus x sub 1 is 19. And then you simply either solve them in your subtract in your head or use a calculator. If it's got negatives involved and you want to use a calculator, that's fine. All right, 3 minus 3 is 0. 20 minus 19 is 1. So this one has a slope of 0, which means it is horizontal. All right, it is a flat horizontal line. So, like I said, in orange, that's how we solved it. Now, let's look at the delta way. Delta means change, so it's change in y over change in x. All right, now to easily get the change, we're going to stack these points. 19 and 3. So I'm stacking my x's and my y's. 19 and 3 and 20 and 3. And we're looking for how much the y's change and how much the x's change. So if I look from 3 to 3, I didn't go up or down. My change is 0. From 19 to 20, I went up 1, so a positive 1. And then I put the change in the y answer over the change in the x. So 0 over 1, which once again equals 0. So that's 2 different ways. And somebody in 7th period said, well, wait a minute. So are you basically, like he said, it looks like the delta way is just sort of a slightly condensed, simplified version of the formula way. And essentially it is. But if you like the idea of knowing exactly what to put in and things like that, then use the formula way. if you're pretty good at looking and saying, oh, this changed by going up 2, this changed by going down 5, then the delta way would be easier for you. Now, let's look at number 2. I'm going to start this one with the delta way. So we're going to keep it in pink. I'm going to stack them. So 17 and negative 13. And then 17 and 8. Now, that's terrible. All right. Now, to find my change in my y's, I'm looking from negative 13 to 8. So I'm going up. So that's a positive. Now, guys, basically, you just ask yourself, how far is it from negative 13 to 0? Well, that's 13. How far is it from 0 to 8? Well, that's 8. 13 plus 8 is going to give you your answer. That's 21. So I went up 21. On the x's, 17 to 17, I didn't change at all. It stayed 0. So I put the change in y number, 21, over the change in x number. And then I realized that I cannot divide by 0. Remember, to divide by 0, can you divide by 0? It was okay, and then no. If the 0's on the bottom, no, you cannot do it. So this one is undefined. Which means that your line is vertical like this. Now, if I did this one using the formula way, guess what? I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. X sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. I'm going to plug in, and I'll say m equals y sub 2 is 8 minus y sub 1 is negative 13. Then x sub 2 is 17 minus x sub 1 is 17 equals. Now, you have to say 8 minus negative 13 in your calculator. And when you do, it's going to tell you 22. And then 17 over minus 17 in your calculator is going to tell you 0. And you are going to get undefined as well. 2 separate ways to get the same answer. You choose which way you like better. All right? Now, on the tables, boys and girls, listen to me. On the tables, you're doing the same thing, but you just pick your 2 points. All right? Pick your 2 easiest points, the 2 points that look easiest for you. Now, I will tell you, I could pick the first 2 points. Lee could pick the middle 2 points. Heath could pick the last 2 points. Talon could pick the first and the very last point, and we're all going to get the same answer. Okay? We would all get the same answer, but for the sake of adding and doing things like that, it's always best to keep the numbers as easy as possible. So in this case, guys, I'm going to use these 2 points, not because they're the first, but because they're both all positive and the smallest. Okay? So you pick your 2 points. Now, if you were doing it the delta way, if you're doing it delta, it's already stacked. The change in y, who can tell me from 2 to 10, what's my change? 8. So I go up 8. So that's a positive 8. From 1 to 3, what's my change? 2. So I go up 2. So my change in y over my change in x, that's what we just did, would be 8 over 2, which can be simplified down to 4. Now, if I did this the formula way, guys, this is the last one I'm doing for you or with you, depending on how you want to think about it, so pay attention. So I'm going to write down the 2 points I choose. Yeah. I can. I don't know. Okay, sorry. Bye. All right. So I write down the 2 points I chose. All right. I'm labeling them. That's my first point, x1, y1. Here comes my second, x2, y2. All right. I'm going to plug it in the formula. Remember that formula is up here. All right. M equals y sub 2 is 10 minus y sub 1 is 2. X sub 2 is 3 minus x sub 1 is 1. 10 minus 2 is 8. 3 minus 1 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. You're going to get the same answer. Either way you choose to do this, it's whatever you like best, okay? So you go ahead and try the fourth problem on your own using one of those methods, okay? You go ahead and do that now. I'll come around and look to see if you have it right.